Welcome to CrossFit Harrow's podcast, episode number 4. This week, I did say that we have a special guest, and our special guest this week is Mr. Paul Hopkins. For those of you that don't know Paul, Paul was and still is a big part of CrossFit Harrow, who was the original, or between the two of us, the original founders of the gym, who set the gym up five years ago now. Paul, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Surviving Corona.
Yeah, just about.
It's been. Do you know? To be fair, although we've had quite a lot of contacts, this whole Corona situation we haven't seen each other for quite a few months.
Well, Corona's quite interesting because I actually don't physically know anyone who's had it.
I guess so.
That makes sense. Like,
well, there's the don't get me started on conspiracies.
I know. I don't know anyone, friends, families, friends who has had Corona. So fortunate enough to be able to say that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that is a good thing as opposed to knowing someone that has had it. Right. So for some of the listeners, they won't know exactly who you are, Paul. So do you want to start with? So CrossFit Harrow started in 2015, and do you want to start with how CrossFit Harrow was born?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So me and Lorenzo, we met in 2010. 2010.
About. No, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And we worked at Virgin Active.
Yeah.
And that was kind of both of our start into fitness and whatnot. And back then, man, we thought we was good.
Oh, we've got so many stories to share today on fitness.
It's just embarrassing to think about where we started and what we did, which then leads on to saying, like, when you become a newly qualified personal trainer, you feel like you've conquered fitness, but really
you're not even
just
scratching the
open
surface.
Pandora's box, isn't you? And there is so much more to get out of it. But anyway, so we met there, and then I think both of us within 6 months of one another. So I think we've been there about 2 years each.
Yeah. It was a little bit more actually.
Yeah, and then within about 6 months of one another, just became so fed up with the whole commercial fitness industry. And I think that's largely due to the fact that we discovered CrossFit whilst working in a commercial gym.
Yeah, I agree.
And we was following CrossFit main site for probably 6 months together.
And that was the best program, and probably still is one of the best programs
100%.
around.
I think that so many people could look at it to understand a lot of the reasons why you do
what you do,
things you do at the gym.
That's a fair point. If you and you've told me this before, if any of you listeners have the time, go on to CrossFit.com main site and look at the archives of all the training that you could do, and it is very relevant to everyday life. And you can go back 10 years now,
mate? You can go back to 2001.
Yeah, incredible.
There's 3 days on, 1 day off since 2001, and I still to this day wake up every morning and go onto the CrossFit homepage just to see what it is.
Yeah, a main site workout will, not all of them will leave you broken, but they're hard work. Like, people think, it's the main site, they're easy workouts. They're not.
The reason it gets a bad rep is because it's not competition CrossFit.
Yeah. But then over the last couple of years, I think 2-3 years, they put the scaled versions on their beginners workouts where they wrote the lesson plan and stuff.
They only did that for 2018.
Right. Okay.
And then they stopped it, and there was a big. If you read all the comments, people were having a right moan up, and I think they were right to do so, because I think that it gave people a reason. No, it showed people how they can scale down or scale up.
Yeah. That's true.
Anyway, I've gone off topic.
That's right. So we met. We met in 20. No, we met in 2010. 2010. Jeez, great memory, both of us. Worked together. Kind of got fed up.
This could be your most random podcast that's going to scoot around from point to point.
Yeah, we talk about every subject into fitness. So we both got fed up. Yeah, I do remember that. Up.
I think largely due to the fact that we found CrossFit and we started to not be able to do the training we wanted to do in the space we was in. Then also started to see so many things that people were doing that we disagreed with, which really just made us like, why am I here? I can't continue to work in this space where I'm passionately against everything I'm looking at.
Do you remember that lady that asked me to help her with doing an ab workout? And I was like, right, you need to do this and that. She goes, oh no, I don't want to sweat. That was the same. That was the same day that I handed my notice in.
Well, I remember the fast classes that I used to take. They were like 20 to 25 minute sessions, but it was 20 to 25 minutes abs. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to train your abs for 25 minutes. It's impossible.
But, right, so for the listeners that don't know what these classes were, it was when kind of Usain Bolt, I think, just before set the world record or something.
Yeah, it was right on his thing, yeah.
Got his deal with Puma and stuff, and so did VA. And they incorporated his FAS, FAAS class into the gym environment. So both me and Paul used to deliver those FAS classes. They were great classes, eh?
Mate, I just think of the core ones, like that you had to think of a new session a day for the core.
The same
for 20 to 25 minutes for the same people. And after you've kind of done the only ones you actually believe in, you're just starting to make up any old nonsense you can.
Yeah. I remember just seeing people just doing just the most. What are you like looking at them thinking, how have you processed that? And what are you doing?
Mate, it just takes me on to two more things. That is why I think I handed my notice in. When I went on the Cortex training day.
Oh, God, that spinning thing.
I don't know how to explain this. It's like a Bosu ball, but it's on ball bearings.
That never stands still.
Doesn't stay still. And I went on a 2-day training course.
I was with you. Was I?
All I remember thinking was...
We've done it in the squash courts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I remember thinking was, there is one exercise that can be done on this thing, nothing else.
And every time, that piece of kit was worth like £1,000.
I know.
And so basically, with this bit of kit, you used to stand on it and there was handles. So imagine a flat surface, but on ball bearings, so that it was very unstable. And you would put your hands on what would you call it?
Mate, I can't even explain it. You're going to just have to Google Cortex.
Yeah, Google it and you can just make your own visualizations. All people used to do was stand on it and rotate from side to side.
But the thing was, it was the loudest machine in the world. So all you heard for 10 minutes was...
But people got a great ab workout, no?
Mate, they were just... twisting. Oh, I don't...
Okay, so that fed... Go on.
That leads me into the power plates. Yeah.
God, don't. I was hoping you saved that story for later.
So I was personal training this woman, and
well, hold on. You personal training her, or she was personal training you?
Yeah, exactly. I had her standing on the power plate, and I was running from side to side, and she was throwing a medicine ball at me, and I was catching it. Well, Lorenzo came in and was watching me. I looked at him, and I was sweating. I was getting the workout. Moving from side to side. She was standing still on this power plate.
That vibrates.
Throwing at me.
Thinking, fucking Paul, what are you doing? but that is what you're taught. Yeah, that is what you're taught.
It's what you're taught.
You're taught. And people believe, and because you, well, no, not you personally, but because we delivered that, people trusted and believed in your system.
Mate, but the gym was like a stadium. People were on the top level doing cardio, looking down. And I'm telling you, I got clients from that because people thought, "Wow, that trainer's wicked. He's thinking well outside the box."
Fucking running doing shuttle runs. Oh, that was brilliant. That story is every time I hear it, it makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
yeah,
Where the fuck was I?
we both got fed up with fitness at that stage.
Left. Yeah.
Yeah, you did you not go traveling? You went traveling, right?
Yeah, I went traveling, and then came back and ended up working in construction on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Did that for a year.
Well, I
And
remember getting a call off you, and I was like, Paul Hopkins. Like,
yeah,
are you not on the other side of the world?
yeah, went traveling again after Star Wars. And then when I came back, I was like, right, I need to sort my life out. So, uh,
I actually remember your exact words.
go on.
I was just seeing how you was. I was just ringing to get back in touch. I've just come back from traveling. I want to get back in touch with my friends.
Is that what I said?
That is literally what you said.
Oh, so yeah, that sounds a bit like me, right?
Yeah, and then
Yeah, then I think at the you had
I'd open the studio. Yeah,
you had the studio and you was PT-ing out of it.
no power plates.
So I had no job, and I think I just came in and started taking like a few classes and a couple of clients,
Yeah,
and like
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Because the little circuit classes that we used to run on a Tuesday,
just
I think, and a Friday.
sort of
And didn't
finding my feet.
you opened I got you to judge me for the open.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm going to take the full credit and say CrossFit Harrow. CrossFit Harrow was completely my idea.
I think but it was a case of like, you've got the space.
Yeah, I was like, mate, why don't you make a CrossFit gym? And then it was kind of like light bulb moment, like, yeah, let's do it. And then
go on.
no, nothing. You go.
And actually, we celebrate on July the 15th.
Yeah.
It was that was July 15th was the day that we opened. It was June 15th that we got accepted.
Yeah.
For the and that's how the story of CrossFit Harrow was born. Two of us after one of the open workouts, so we kind of went for it and thought, yeah, fuck it, let's apply.
Yeah, mate. And then
do you remember being at my house doing the application?
Yeah. Mate, so I got so many because the first gym for the people who went there, like, it feels like the size of my bedroom.
Oh yeah, tiny.
I don't know how we did it, but it worked.
It was less than 800 square foot. It must have been.
Yeah. I just remember the day before we're due to open, we're putting the rig up, and mate, it was like the floor. I can't even believe the floor never caved in.
Yeah,
the floor was like 2 foot above. Yeah, it was on timbers, and like if you dropped a heavy barbell, the room would shake like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
Oh my god, I don't know how we weren't penalised for that flooring.
Yeah, mate. So
that was the birth of CrossFit Harrow.
That was, what was that? A 20-minute introduction.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. To be fair, there's a lot more that we could talk about it with the intro. But yeah, that was 2015. We got it all going to. It took us 4 weeks pretty much to get it all.
Application, kit, and I mean, mate, let's be honest. Like when we started, we didn't have a lot of money. Like
no,
we had hardly anything. So
it was minimal. We started with minimal. We had, in fact, the squat rack that we have in the gym now. Was it only 3 racks? Was it only 3 racks? Yeah, we only had 3.
Yeah, but there initially was only 1, and then we bought more.
2 more.
Rig.
Yeah. Oh no, we got rid of that old one because it was from. Yeah.
And then it was traditional how boxes, I think, were.
At one point, we had the sofa.
Yeah, mate, from my flat. I know. Yeah. Mate.
Oh God.
But I think it was how boxes were intended to be started.
Yeah.
Of like people who are passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people might not know this, but a lot of the boxes when they originally opened in the States were like literally out of people's garages. Like they would throw. That's the whole kind of where the whole shutter thing comes.
Yeah. From. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that can lead to a whole issue amongst itself.
Yeah.
With regards to people being able to open gyms who really don't have a lot of strings to their bow.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying for it, like me and you are the most unbelievable coach in the world, but I would like to think that when we started, we had good knowledge, experience, and understanding of what we was doing.
Yeah, I think we made a lot of our mistakes early in, like, when we were working in commercial gyms.
100%.
So it led us to make better decisions. And obviously, working for yourself, you tend to make better decisions. You get things wrong. But...
My motto was, how do I make CrossFit Harrow successful? Do the opposite to what I did at a commercial gym.
Yeah,
and it worked, I reckon.
Pretty much. So we opened that in 2015. 2 years later, moved to the other space.
Yeah.
And then 2 years after that, moved into the bigger space. And then, for those of you that don't know, Paul decided to make a life-changing decision, which Corona's kind of got in the way with, to start a new life in Sweden. Hence why we are talking in past and present text in some things. How's this whole Sweden situation going?
How's Sweden? I mean, I was on...
Because a lot of people think you're there.
I know. I'm still here. Yeah, man. I was pretty much on the verge of going, and then this whole thing happened, so it kind of put a massive dent in my move. But it's first world problems, right? I'll always say that. Like, I've got a house. I've got food. Like, life is good, so it's not really an issue or a problem that is a problem compared to what some people in the world have, right?
They're dealing with, yeah, it's true.
So it's true. I can't complain, but no. So hopefully, once restrictions get lifted and whatnot, it will just get back to normal and
start a new life out there. Yeah.
So
there is a lot more that me and Paul can discuss about this story, and I think if you want to know more, I think just send us over send us over a message, and we'll be happy to go through it, or we'll do another one of these and go into. We've got so much to talk about. We could be on this for years.
Podcast number 2 with user questions. Viewers' questions.
There's a lot. There would be a lot, I think. So the idea of what I want the listeners to get out of today's podcast. So if you're wondering kind of where we're going with this, we want to talk about why we think CrossFit is the right training program, and why you need to listen to your coach about scaling. In terms of, a lot of people look at scaling as a negative thing, and they come in and go, I can't do that. Of course, there's a lot of things that you can't do, but a good coach will give you things that you can do to build confidence, to build competence, so that you can progress in your fitness results. A lot of people don't see results because they're doing things that they can't master or can't do. So me and Paul hopefully will give you some info and some insight into what you can do about that and why you should listen. We know that the fitness industry is a bit fucked. Mm-hmm. Some of the listeners, and I actually think that if Corona hasn't shown that to the everyday person, then I'm not sure what will. Even speaking to Carl, having Carl last week on the show talking about injuries and people going out for runs and like who've never run and clocking up 400 kilometers a week, and a lot of people are doing that. Like, there's a lot of people doing that still online, filming themselves, who are doing it as a hobby. And I don't know if you heard the last part of last week was there was a big difference or one of my actually Instagram posts was there's a big difference between people doing fitness as a career and people doing fitness as a hobby, and Instagram or social media doesn't define that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start on this. I always talk about this and have so much to say, but yeah, like when someone takes up a hobby, let's say running, right? There are so many steps to take to build up your running that just never happen or get overlooked because you want to start running. And it's fair enough. Like, I totally understand. You just want to go and play. But I play the guitar, right? You don't just pick up the guitar and you're able to play.
Did you not remember when I came around yours and I tried playing the guitar?
Yeah, mate. Like,
it took me hours and I still couldn't learn to do whatever string it was.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so there are so many things that happen before being able to play the guitar.
Yeah.
So I kind of try and like to look at that and use that with sport or fitness or exercises, that there are so many things that should be done. I'm not saying you need to like not run. Yes, you should run, but distances and intervals and times and intensities and speeds and heart, there's so many variables that should be taken into consideration.
Yeah, I agree. But then I guess translating that into someone walking into a CrossFit gym for the first time is, you know, a lot of people would see. So they come in for two reasons really. They're bored at the gym, or three reasons. They're bored at the gym. They've run out of their routines. Can't think of anything new to do, and have realised that actually what they're doing is not that it's shit, but it doesn't work anymore. It's very old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Have been referred by someone.
Yeah.
Or have watched something to do with CrossFit on Netflix or
that was way more than three, but never mind.
Was it? Sorry. But sometimes with that person coming in, and this is on a global scale, this is not necessarily just I'm not talking specifically at CrossFit Harrow, but people think, oh, it's fitness, it's easy, I can do that, or I don't need to learn, I can just walk in and do it. I've done bodybuilding for 20 years.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks it's their given right as a human that they are naturally fit. That
how many people have walked in before and gone, yeah, I'm pretty fit, and you're like, yeah, okay,
mate. I don't know what it is about gyms and fitness that, and I'm going to say it is mainly guys, that feel like they need to show their worth or explain to me how good they are. Like I've always said this, I find it more impressive when someone deadlifts with good technique with a barbell than bad technique 200 kilo.
Yeah.
Like the 200, it doesn't impress me. Like show me that you can do it properly, then I'll be impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
You get people come in and tell you they did gymnastics as a kid for 10 years, can't do a handstand. You're like, I don't know what gymnastics class you went to. Do you know what I mean?
But it's quite worrying because, like, you know, there are CrossFit gyms that, you know, have coaches that maybe are inexperienced. You know, we're not just part of this message is not to say that everything in CrossFit is perfect, because it definitely isn't. There are good coaches, there are very good coaches, and there are also ones that maybe need more experience and not so good, and need to develop their skills. But a good coach would generally be able to identify, right, well, this person can't move properly in this way, and give them the closest to or the best advice in order for them to get the best workout. But there's a barrier here because the individual sometimes can take that as, you know, well, this coach doesn't think I'm good enough, or, you know, I've done it before at like 70 kilo. Yeah, you've done it at 70 kilo, but it was shit and you didn't finish the workout. How did you feel after? Probably not very good.
Yeah. It's
there's a thing about accomplishment and times. Like, I need to get the workout done in this time.
I think it's CrossFit's biggest strength, but also its biggest
weakness.
Yeah, is the time-based element. Because yes, through the training guide, and if you know about CrossFit, you know that fitness comes with correctly loaded intensity. But if
all the information is on the level 1 handbook, which is free online.
How many people have you heard me tell to read that book?
I know.
Like, when you said about, we're going to explain about what CrossFit is. And it's like, yeah, man, I have a great understanding about CrossFit and what it is. But actually, I think reading about it yourself makes you absorb the information so much more.
Yeah.
And it is a fun read, to be fair.
They've done it
really well. They've laid it out really well to make you, from page 1, be like, all right.
You're engaged pretty much.
Read. Yeah,
you're engaged pretty much the whole way through. But it's trying to get people to come in and understand that, like, sometimes less is actually more.
100%.
You know, just because a workout, you know, says that you've got to do 1,000 of this or whatever, the rep scheme or weight wise, doesn't necessarily mean for you at this moment right now that's the right thing to do. It's building blocks to that. And it's about trying to portray that message.
I think that, as you said, so many people get caught up in the movement, the weight and the reps that they
forget the purpose of the workout.
Totally forget why they're there in the first place. And man, I know why I train. I train so that I can live a healthy, active lifestyle for the longest possible time that I can.
Yeah, but you're not going to be someone's not going to be doing that if they're lifting their maxes every single day.
Yeah, not for that day. You're not living. I mean, it's catch-22, isn't it? Because I definitely do live life to enjoy each day. But in fitness, I don't live life for each day.
It's progressive.
Because otherwise you'd be like, right, I'm going to do Murph every day. And there are people who do that.
There are, and that's quite worrying, actually.
Well, it's crazy to think that, I mean, I don't think Murph once a year is more than enough.
Honestly, so for those of you that don't know Murph is a hero workout in CrossFit, which you do a mile run. You're supposed to do it with a weighted vest, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and a mile run. I remember doing that for your birthday 2 years ago, and I done it with a weighted vest on. I think it took me around 55 minutes, and I could not move for 5 days. 5 days. And I would like to have said at the time, I was pretty conditioned.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like Murph is the perfect opportunity to talk about scaling.
Okay, yeah.
And how that workout should be scaled by everyone unless you go to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I guess there is that.
In my opinion. I'm not saying you did it wrong by wearing the weight vest and whatnot.
No, but we've done it as a fun. We've actually done it as a fun element.
It's a fun element. But let's take it as a serious workout, right? Today's workout is Murph. The cap is 45 minutes, right? Just for example, so we got 10-minute warm up. We're going into Murph, all right? I reckon if you did that in every CrossFit box across the world, there would be 1% people finish.
Yeah, in that time frame.
Even if they scaled it.
Well, I think, look, so, some people, we've taught this before. There's been times where we've taught, we've had like a 5 rep max deadlift, we've had a strength day, and then we've had a smaller workout in after like a smaller metcon of like around 8-9 minutes, and someone's just worked up to like a 130 or 120 kilo deadlift for 5, right? And then the recommended or the RX prescripted weight for the next workout of like 100, or let's say it was Diane of a 21-15-9 deadlifts and handstand push-ups, that is at 100 kilo.
Yeah.
Now they've identified they can't do handstands. They've accepted that, so they're scaled to whatever box progressions or seated presses, whatever it is that they're doing. But they're like, well, I've lifted 100 kilo. I've just lifted 120. Yeah. You're like, no, but you need to do that now. 1 at a high heart rate and now 45 times. So although you can lift 100 kilo, to do it 45 times, probably not. You probably need to scale that workout like down to 60, 70 kilo.
Yeah, I mean,
max.
100%, yeah. Definitely.
And they're like, no, but I've just lifted 120. Yeah, but you've done that for a 5 rep max.
Yeah.
That was your biggest effort for 5 reps. What makes you think that you're going to be able to do 45? And how many conversations have you had,
mate,
throughout the years?
How many times do you reckon you've had the class in front of you and you've said, this should be under 5 minutes? And no one's finished under 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you're like, look, I've told you what I think you should do.
I literally just came to you and said, scale to this, do this, get it done in under 5 minutes. 3, 2, 1, go. 8 minutes. People aren't even through their 15.
Yeah, there are times, and what people have to understand is there are times as a coach, we tend to know our audience very well. So you will challenge someone a little bit different to the next individual standing next to you. And you might want someone to complete it in 8 minutes if they're someone who is borderline, who can,
for sure,
do the work. You might want to. They might have scaled throughout the year, but that particular time, and you want to test their
RX. Take them 9 minutes. Yeah, they should probably RX it.
Yeah,
they can RX it.
So it's just about making sure that we identify that and tell people that actually not, there are workouts that are scaled and have to be scaled, but as coaches, I'd like to say that we know our audience very well. There are times where we will physically and want to mentally test you.
Man, I remember scaling,
we scale.
We were talking about the main site.
Yeah.
And how they offered the scaling options for a year. I remember following that and doing the scaled option.
And you had a better workout, right?
Mate, the workouts for me were better.
Yeah.
Now, can I do the RX? Yeah, 90% of the time I can do the RX. But actually, it allowed me to get better intensity, which is the definition of CrossFit.
Yeah.
So why would you not do it?
Yeah. We've kind of, I don't know, I love, you know that I love CrossFit, and there is so much about it that I love. One of the things it has done, which I think has had a negative impact on people, and I think it's down to the coaches to install this, is that we do need to come away from what the weight says, like the RX workouts and the time prescription and stuff. It's like the time is important in terms of if something's for time, but in order for you to get the best workout, like at the end of the day, people are doing CrossFit because they want results out of it. They want to see results, and you're not going to get results if there's a workout designed to do in 12 minutes and you do it in 25.
Yeah.
So it's about educating those people to be like, look, yes, do this, but I want to do X, Y, and Z to get you the best possible workout. You want to be on the floor after. You want to like be sweating profusely, whatever that word is. You want the best possible workout.
Yeah.
So why would you do it any other way?
I know. And it goes back to just working out day by day rather than seeing the bigger picture of, okay, like it's cool that I can't RX this today.
Yeah, people think scaling is a bad thing.
If I take the correct steps that the coach is telling me to do, in 6 months, maybe 2 years' time, like I'll be able to do it RX.
Yeah.
And it just goes back to fitness selling the quick fix pill.
Yeah.
And it just stems from that, really. 6-second abs and take this pill to lose 10 pounds in 1 month. Like all those quick fixes just sold the dream. And I think there's just the population still just thrives off of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, man, like we've been doing CrossFit for 10 years.
Yeah.
And
pretty much.
Like we're still average.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
We are.
I speak for myself there. I'm still average.
We are very small. No, but we are very small. Like, you know, there are people that do it on a full-time basis as a sport. Like, they are athletes. They are conditioned to be athletes. They have made a choice. For most people coming to local boxes, you are an accountant. You work in banking. You work in a restaurant. You know, whatever IT. You are a normal person that works 9 to 5. So what makes you think that you're going to do a double day, train in the morning, go to work, come back from work, go to the box again, you know.
Eat like shit.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. And also in terms of like developing skills, how many conversations have you had with someone that, you know, wants to do a bar muscle up but can't do strict pull-up?
Oh, don't. When I just remember people asking me how close. I remember someone said they attempted a muscle up and they said, how far away am I from a muscle up? And I said, about 25 pull-ups. And they were like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, what's the point? You can't yet do 25 pull-ups. So a muscle up for me is just a goal that's too far away. Like, yes, you can 100% get a muscle up without doing 25 pull-ups. It's not what I'm saying. Yeah. How many videos have you seen online of people getting their first muscle up and all you're looking at is they're going to hurt themselves?
Yeah.
Too many, way too many.
But you know what? Because a lot of people don't want to take the time. They want to get the end product without actually working.
They want all the glamorous stuff that they see on the telly or they see on Instagram.
Yeah, but don't want to do the work.
Without doing the little bits of work before. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Take it back to playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Like everyone wants to be able to play Sweet Child of Mine, but they don't want to learn the techniques to play Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess from a coach's perspective, you know, after the warm up and before the WOD, there's a gap in there where it's, you know, some days are training days, you know, strength based days, some days are coaching days. And that in terms of like learning new skills or practicing new skills. But I think, this is my personal opinion, that once someone does something, right? So if you're teaching let's say a rope climb or a handstand, once someone achieves it and does it once and ticks it off, a lot of people think, well, I've done it now. I don't need to practice it.
It's so true.
But actually, you've done it not under fatigue. You're doing it under, like, you know, you're practicing for skill. So can you now do that under fatigue? How can you make this more efficient? How can you link this? Because everything always feels different. A rope climb when you do burpees feels completely different from when you do rope climbs when you do deadlifts and power cleans or whatever it might be.
It's very similar to your example about the the deadlift.
Yeah.
It's the exact same sort of thing that, yeah, you can deadlift over 100 kilo, but should you do 100 kilo deadlifts in the workout? Absolutely not. Yes, you can do a rope climb, but should you do a rope climb that involves running and burpees? Probably not, because you can only just about do one.
Yeah. And that's why scaling is so important. At the end of the day, regardless of what box you go to, scaling options are there because us as coaches want you to perform and want you to exceed and get better. And then we can test you on new skills, you know. We can put different workouts together because you'll have a feeling of what different movements feel like together.
Yeah.
But the other thing to this whole thing is that people look at CrossFit and think, well, fuck it, I'm not going to pay for it because I can go to my Globo gym and I can just make up some workouts. I've seen people do 21-15-9 of fucking upright rows and calorie row on the rower. You're like,
yeah.
But that makes no logical sense.
No, I know.
But think, it's CrossFit. They can put it together. I'm not going to pay the, monthly membership, or I'm not going to listen to someone. Like, do you remember people looking at us and thinking, we do this for a hobby?
Yeah.
No, we do this for a fucking living. We've gone and got our qualifications. I've been in fitness since I was, 15, 16?
Yeah.
I'm 30 this year.
Unfortunately, everyone's a pro in the fitness. Like,
everyone is.
Like, you do. I mean, I got so many people I know who got really into the gym, health and nutrition, went and done a PT course, and they're only like a year into their fitness journey, but now they're seen as a pro in the industry.
Yeah.
And I just think that takes away from your 15 years experience, my sports science degree, qualifications, experience in the industry. It just kind of like...
Tell the story about the nutrition.
Well, we're gone.
The nutrition advice that you were giving someone for free.
Oh, yes. I always love this one.
But apparently, because it was fitness is deemed as a hobby for you, you weren't credible, which pisses me off even more.
Go on, you've got a new story for me.
No, the story of when someone came to you for nutrition advice and was like, "Nah, I'm not going to take that. I'm going to go and get professional."
So, am I right in thinking it was when, like, I was working at CrossFit Harrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said, they approached me, that's it, and they said, I've seen this 12-week nutrition program with this guy, and they showed me, like, look at some of the results the people are getting. And admittedly, they were going from overweight to shredded. I'm not taking anything away from the nutrition program. Clearly worked. But the only reason it works is because it was £1,500. And if you pay £1,500 for a 12-week nutrition program,
you're going to want it to fucking work.
You are going to follow it to a T.
I know.
You are not going to miss anything out of that nutrition program. Right. So I said, I'll do one for you. And not that I necessarily agree with it now, but I prescribe them a zone diet, which is in the CrossFit training guide. And it's basically weighing up macros, protein, fats, carbs, equal split across the day to achieve your calories. Wrote it out, gave it to them. I think they'd done it for a week, and then they were like, I'm having a Domino's pizza. And I was like, well, that's not on the plan. And they were like, basically, just because they didn't pay for it, there was no
value
in it. But it was, I can guarantee it was as in depth and had just as much stuff as the £1,500 one.
Yeah, but I want to come back to that because you brought me onto something that I want to talk about actually. But the story I was talking about was when someone came to you for nutrition advice, you gave it to them and was like, nah, I'm going to go see a nutritionist. Went and saw a nutritionist, paid £250.
Oh, yes, I know now what you're talking about. And the nutritionist told him exactly what I told him.
Yeah, and you gave it to them for free.
Quality. And they came back and I was like, what? I was like, I didn't gloat. I was like, what did they say then? And they listed off basically all the things I had said. And I was so tempted to just go, oh, so exactly what I said. And I swallowed my pride and just said, oh, brilliant. I'm glad you got it sorted.
Yeah. Yeah, best thing to
So
do.
that one
But
is quality.
going on to the topic of nutrition and like the value, right? People, I think the whole fitness industry is surrounded by, you know, obviously nutrition. And the reality is that people ask for help on nutrition, but they think it's a complete package. Nutrition is very different to fitness. It's very different to what you do inside the walls. Now, nutrition does come at a cost. It costs a coach's time. It costs a lot of, you know, it takes a lot of effort to put in a good nutrition plan. And it also it costs to coach someone with regards to nutrition. And people want these results, and they'll ask, you know, and you've had this question, what do you eat? And I'm like, I've pretty much ate the same thing every fucking day.
Yeah.
You want nutrition results, and then you give them a program, a basic program, because you want to see if there's any level of not respect. Respect is not the right word, but if they will follow it and see if there's any value. Because it's free, they think, oh fuck it, it's shit, and I'm bored by day 3.
I remember giving people recipes, like in a nutrition program, and they're like, "Oh, have you got any more recipes?" And I'm like, honestly, get used to eating the same stuff, because unfortunately, that is what works. Like, I've had the same breakfast for probably 10 years.
But when people sit there, they you know, they're like, oh, I want to make change. I want to get in shape. I'm going to eat all these things. I'm going to have change my diet. But the reality is that you don't have the fucking time. So you've only got time to make meals that are based around you and your lifestyle. So unless you win the lottery tomorrow and you've got all the time in the world, then or there's a personal change inside you where you can allocate that time and you make a lifestyle change, it's not going to happen. No. And people who write these programs, like there's times I've written programs, I've written nutrition programs based on someone's time and availability to make that food and what's convenient. We live in a world of convenience. You want a fucking laptop delivered to your door next day, Amazon. You want something, your shopping delivered to your front door, Tesco, you know, online. Everything. We live on instant gratification.
It's so true. Like, I always remember back in the day when I was younger and the thing was bulking, right? And there was
that's another story.
A supplement called Serious Mass.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like 3 scoops has got 1,000 calories. Now, you just give yourself 3 scoops of shite. You can make a 1,000 calorie shake that has all natural ingredients in it, with the same nutritional value.
Even thinking about it is mad. What you're saying about bulking, people would spend 6 months of the year putting body weight on that they fucking hate, they despise, but they want this mass. Then they spend the next 6 months trying to get rid of it. Actually, less than 6 months, because they're usually doing it seasonal for a holiday. So they only need it really in their eyes for like a 2-week holiday or a week's holiday. And then all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, they're spending all this time trying to take, body fat is so hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
But yet the whole traditional school, and this is why, going back to the point of this whole podcast of why CrossFit works for people, is because CrossFit was the first fitness program to define what fitness is. Bodybuilding doesn't do that.
No.
Powerlifting doesn't do that. Nothing does define what CrossFit, what fitness is.
Don't get me wrong. There are and there will be so many copies of CrossFit.
Yeah, because people don't want to pay.
But it won't be CrossFit. So I always invite people to go and do it. I guarantee they'll end up in a CrossFit gym.
Actually, do you know what? I've actually just put an advert out for a coach, right?
Yeah.
To add to
Can I apply?
Stuff. Yeah, go for it. And I've got a lot of people applying that don't hold their CrossFit level 1 qualification.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that the title says CrossFit coach and personal trainer and applying with that already speaks for itself. However, I'm asking the question based on their CV, have you got your CrossFit level 1? No, but I've personal trained for this and that. And it's but it's not the exact same. It's not the same.
It's like heart surgeon needed, application. What experience you have? I'm a dentist.
It is the same in that respect. You know, and people don't get that. But nutrition is a big thing within the fitness industry because people do want, they want to look good.
Nutrition's tough because it's so conflicting, because
there
are so many different beliefs and there's so many different studies proving different things work, proving different things don't work. So I really think that you do have to make your own mind up with nutrition.
Yeah, but in my eyes, I think nutrition is as valuable as a gym membership, as a CrossFit gym membership. If not, it's close to gym personal training in a CrossFit environment.
it's the base of the pyramid.
Yeah, it's educating that individual to go, right, look, we need to strip this. We need to start from scratch. We need to develop lifestyle changes. We need to develop habits. We need to find out what works for you, what doesn't. And it is a process. But people, I think, there's so many people that have fucking changed what they eat for 4 days, looked in the mirror and gone, oh, nothing's fucking changed. Mate, you've done it for 4 days. It took you 32 years or 30 years to look the way you do now. So what makes you think in 4 days it's going to change?
I know. It's so true. And unfortunately, you've got the rise of all these new age eating styles that really don't have a lot to back them.
Yeah.
So don't get it wrong, man. I've got nothing against someone being vegan in any way. Like,
I've got a story on this.
Do it for the right reasons. I'll support you all the way. But when people go to be vegan, to be healthier, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, blows mine too.
But I'm like, yeah, okay. A vegan diet is healthier if you've gone from cakes, crisps, burgers, beer to vegetables. 100% you're going to be healthier.
Yeah.
But
that's down to people morally what they want to But I get what you're getting at, because so many people come in I've gone vegan. I'm like, right, why have you gone vegan? Because I heard it's very good for you to lose weight. I want to be healthier. Like, no, dickheads. The reason you've lost weight is because you're used to having cake, crisps, chocolate for your lunch, or on a packet of Walker's crisps, to now having falafel bites and a fucking salad. Of course you've lost weight, because mathematically it doesn't add up.
You're in a calorie deficit. I mean, it's as simple as this. If you want to lose weight, you put yourself in a daily calorie deficit and you will lose weight. It's science, maths, whatever you want to fucking call it, that will work. If you eat less than you need to, you'll lose weight. It doesn't matter if you have fucking 10 beers a day and it keeps you under your calories. You will lose weight.
Yeah. And it's got nothing to do with being vegan, pescatarian, meat eater. It's got nothing to do with that. It's purely a numbers game in that respect.
Because it's like, it just doesn't make... I don't necessarily disagree or agree with any of them. If it's getting you your goals, then do it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. It depends on what people want out of training, what they want from their lifestyle or what it is they're looking to achieve. But the biggest thing for me is consistency. And also people do lose weight from that stuff because they do it for a consistent period of time. And it's actually not the thing that you're eating technically that has made you lose the weight. One, is the numbers, but two, it's the consistency, because you've allowed enough time for it to have an effect on your body.
Exactly. And
have an adaptation. Like, I'm actually going through a process now where I'm tracking the foods that I want to eat because I want to be able to talk about it. I'm eating like 3.5, sometimes 4,000 calories a day, and I'm in the best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah.
But could someone else go and do that? No, you need to build yourself to that and train appropriately. There's a lot of people, like the guys and girls that go to gyms, commercial gyms, that will eat 3,000, 3,500, but then will train to not support what they're eating. And this goes back to the podcast that me and Kay were talking about, and even, looking at your training needs to represent, or your food needs to represent your training goal. If you're training to add mass, you need to eat to add mass.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like...
And if that's your goal, that you want to do that and step on stage or and show your body off that way and get your
goal,
IBF bloody pro card, then that's cool. But a normal person every day comes into gym because they say, I want to lose weight or I want to look good naked.
Well, I feel like most of the people's goal in the world is very similar, is that they just want to find their homeostasis, just the place where they're consistently happy.
Yeah, that's true.
For most people, if they cut out a few things, they'll pretty much be there.
Even as simple as, rather than having a bottle of wine on a Friday night, have a glass of wine on a Friday night.
It's true. There are so many simple little... I mean, I always like the paleo model.
I knew you were going to come onto that.
Not because it's... I think people get paleo totally mixed up and they assume that it's meat eaters, eat lots of meat, eat lots of meat, eat lots of meat. And it's not the case at all. It's a vegetable plant-based diet. So you could call it a vegan diet with meat.
Yeah.
It's a vegan diet with meat,
It
basically.
encourages someone to eat leafy greens,
Mate, yeah,
colourful
berries,
vegetables.
yeah,
Yeah,
literally. Limit your sugar intake. Like, don't have
nothing
too much fruit.
artificial.
Eat mainly plants. Have some good sources of protein in plants, and you're all good. Now, paleo, the meat we buy in Tesco's, Morrison's, is not paleo.
Yeah.
That meat is not paleo. Paleo meat is organically grass-fed. You know what I mean? All that shebang.
Yeah.
That is what paleo meat is. And I'm sure if you buy that quality meat, you would actually respect it more and like cook it properly and not just fucking have the same.
Yeah, but we live in a world of time and convenience. So
It's time and convenience, yeah. It's time.
Quickly.
People would gladly spend £60 on a tub of protein, but if they spent £60 on some local organic grass-fed meat, they would be like, no, that's way expensive.
But it's the same thing of people people who have objections to paying for CrossFit memberships. Like, well, I don't want to pay that, but you'd spend that on a round and a night out easily on a bottle of fucking Verve Clicquot, whatever it's called.
Yeah, at Nobu.
Yeah,
shit sushi.
Yeah. Like, so it just baffles me. But it is in the eye of the beholder. It is priorities of what that person values.
And that's what I mean. Like, don't get me wrong. Not everyone has the same outlook on life or fitness as we do. So I totally understand that people want to find the balance. And that's what it is, finding balance within yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. But
figuring out what works for you, what doesn't.
That's a big thing on nutrition. And, well, I say a big thing, but we kind of went off a little bit. But the importance and the purpose of this podcast is listen to your coaches and choosing the right scaling option, and why CrossFit is important, and why CrossFit is good for you. And hopefully we've covered the majority of that. I mean, you know, there can be I guess the biggest negative connotation towards CrossFit is injury, and the injury comes from generally not listening to your coach about scaling.
I mean, it's all linked, right? Everything we've spoken about, it's all linked. Injury would link itself with that.
Yeah.
Going to deadlifting 100 kilo 45 times when your 1 rep max is 130. Yeah. You're going to get injured.
And what people need to understand also is that everyone is genetically and physically made up very differently. So like when you're looking at handstand positions or gymnastics or something, or you look over and go, well, why is that person doing that and I can't do it? It's like, it's nothing to do with your ability. It can be the fact of how your body is made up.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? If you're someone who is absolutely fused in the middle of your back, in your T-spine, or you've got rounded shoulders, you're going to find it very, very hard to go above your head.
Yeah.
And it's not to do with your ability, but in order for you to fix that position doesn't require just you pressing. There's other things that you need to do. However, if I wanted to be really, really, pinpointing, but like, well, no, you can't do this, I wouldn't make you press anything more than maybe a stick or just an empty bar above your head until you could mechanically show that you can press above head with brace midline, nice tight glutes, and have the barbell directly above your head.
Yeah. And then
but then people want to put load on that.
Yeah, mate, because it's ego, isn't it?
Yeah, that
gyms are just, all gyms are egos. At the end of the day, they truly are. No matter what anyone says, they are just egos. And I think CrossFit's doing good because
not being able to do something removes the ego.
It's less of an ego than a normal gym.
Yeah.
Still has an ego, in my opinion.
Yeah, it doesn't remove it completely, but it does kind of put a bit of a stop into it.
Yeah. I think my advice to people would be go to a CrossFit gym, listen to what the coach says, cut out sugar, and you're halfway there.
Yeah, pretty much. And
focus on yourself. Focus on yourself when you're in the class.
Yeah. Yeah,
do what you're capable of doing, not what other people are capable of doing. Leave the gym feeling good, not feeling fucked, like you've hurt yourself.
Yeah. There'll be one workout on our whiteboards, but in that class, if we've got 10 people in that class, there'll be 10, and there should be 10 different versions of that workout going on.
What I wanted to say earlier, the word RX is literally personal to you.
Yeah.
Your RX is different to my RX. My RX is different to so-and-so's RX. the RX on the board is just the generalized standard. That isn't what we want you to go at. That is what, in an ideal world, you would go at.
And that's what we done years ago. We took off the RX from the board. We stopped writing it up.
We stopped it, yeah. And your RX is what you can.
And do you remember when we went through that system of like color coding? So we went green, blue, red. And we were like, right, if you can't do any of the movements in green, you go to blue.
Yeah, doing blue.
And it was a case of like most people would be in blue, could do one movement and couldn't do the other. Yeah, but then there was a case of, I think it was more of a case of like, well, I can do the green, but I can do one of the movements in the green, but I can't do one of the movements in the blue. And they're like, so I'll do one green and one blue. You're like, well, no, the whole purpose is that you scale back the whole workout so that even if it is, let's say, deadlifts and handstands and you can do deadlifts at a certain weight, you spend time, well, there's two options. You either go faster and harder, which means that your output and your intensity is higher, or
so you
get fitter, or you spend that time, you still, you go for a very good speed, or, something that you can keep consistent, but you spend that time with a mixture of learning the movements within that workout as well.
There's so many options. There are so many options in every workout is an opportunity, really.
To practice.
To practice and get better. Not to get the best score you physically can whilst abandoning all technique and everything else that you're taught.
Yeah, that's a mindset thing, though, because like for me personally, I know that when I'm doing a workout, I will feel how the bar's moving, how the rope's moving, and I'll be like, right, I need to do this. I need to get better at this. That one didn't feel great. And when I come back round to that barbell, I'll try and make it move better. A lot of people just think, I'm just going to chase that time. I just want to get it done. And that's what they see, though, at the elite level in the games, because there's a big difference between CrossFit Games and CrossFit as a fitness program.
Remember, they got a prize fund of like 5K to win the workout.
One event. Yeah, one event.
In the gym, you win the event. When I write the times on the board, I've never looked at who's got the quickest time ever.
Yeah. It's not.
You're doing it as quick as you can for yourself. Your own personal best.
Yeah, I'm not going to turn around and hand you a check for £3,000 and go, well done, you came first.
It truly just doesn't matter. If you did it wrong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I get there is that kind of sense of achievement that you do want to come first, and there's a competitiveness as well, but it needs to be balanced with actually, I'm not just working out today. I'm now working out for the next 25 to 35 years of my life. I want to be fit for the next 25, 30 years, not for the next 5. You made this point actually a long time ago about why would you want to deadlift 200 kilo for 1 year when you could probably deadlift 120, 130 for the next 25, 30 years?
Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong. Like,
it's impressive, yes, but who cares?
Like, it's cool to do, but as we said earlier, like, if you ain't doing it properly, it's not very impressive.
It takes years of conditioning to get to that level. It doesn't just happen overnight. And I think,
because I think we stopped writing the times on the board.
Yeah, at one point, yeah.
And I remember the reason we did it, because I got so fed up of asking someone how quick they did the workout in, and they'd tell me their time, and I would literally be in my head like, okay then.
Yeah, you're like, not even you could do that.
Good job. Yeah. That was a really good time.
Yeah, like five rounds of burpee box jumps and thrusters is like 6:42. You're like, yeah, good one.
Well done. Yeah. Good depth. Like, everything was spot on. Good lockout, everything.
But then, it comes a case of like crossing over against, time or movements, and people don't realize how important, like, one thing I forgot to say earlier is that people used to ask me and you, and we are very small fish, and we are not we can move, and we're reasonably fit, but we are small fish in a very big pond.
I'm decent, mate. What are you talking about?
People go, why you're so good at this, you're so good at that. No. Or you're so fit. No, actually, you are more fitter than me and Paul.
Mate,
you are fitter.
I wish to say this.
You are so much fitter than us. However, we have learned to take pride and move properly. Yeah, there might be the odd rep that we get wrong. We'll throw our hands up and we'll do the rep again. But generally 9 times out of 10 or 9.9 times out of 10, it's because we move more efficiently. It's not because we're fitter.
Mate, the Open is like the best example. How every year, like me and you would be 1 and 2 in the gym.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and be like, these people come into our classes are training harder than I am.
But people are going to say, hold on, but you two are coaches. And that's beyond the point. Our job is to coach you to become better. We're not full-time athletes. We are coaches. We're professional coaches. We're business owners. We're not a case of full-time athletes.
Mate, how anti-competition am I?
Yeah, no.
I
really got to do the Open this year.
I was the most anti-competition CrossFit coach there was. And So I was totally against that. It's just, as you said, it was consistency of doing things right every time we did them.
Yeah, and that's why we came up with good
That's why we
times
got
and
fit.
good scores. Yeah, that's how we got fit. But aerobically, you know, for aerobic tests and other things and strength tests, there are a lot of people that are a lot stronger and fitter than we are, and than we'll ever be.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
But can't put it together because they don't want to listen to working mechanics of the movement, and then they can't be consistent with it, and then goes the intensity. They can't do it through intensity.
It's that consistency, isn't it? Like, you think we've been doing it every day for 10 years. It's the consistency.
Yeah, it's like anything, job-wise or whatever it might be.
Like, I don't know why you wouldn't do. I can't understand why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, why? Yeah, why don't you invest your time and money?
Train. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I've always been someone who's active or sporty and wanted to like be moving in some way. So when it's a chore for people, I'm always like, oh man, that's a different mindset I have. So maybe I'm fortunate in a sense that I've got that mindset, but
yeah, there is that. But this, I feel that we kind of went off on a bit of a tangent on certain things, but you know, I think we've covered quite a lot, and I'd love to have you. Yeah, a lot of bollocks. I would love to have you back on to go through some more bits and pieces, and you know, maybe we can talk about training specifically towards goals and stuff like that, and why people maybe choose the easy way out sometimes or don't do certain things, but we can sort that out between us. But I'm going to wrap it up because we've been talking for a long time, but it's been good talking to you.
Yes,
and we'll obviously, once this is all over, we'll catch up properly.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. All right. Have a good day, mate. No problem.
See you later.
Bye-bye.